What made you realize traditions shouldn't be blindly followed? My family demanded all women cut out our own tongues at age 16 with a pair of red-hot pliers to prove devotion. I discovered this 2 weeks before my 16th birthday when I broke into my grandmother's locked study looking for my confiscated phone. Instead, I found her collection. 47 mason jars lined the shelves, and each one held a human tongue floating in yellowed formaldehyde. The labels had names and dates going back 200 years. My mother's name stared at me from a jar dated 18 years ago. That's when I understood why every woman in my family wrote instead of speaking. Every woman except grandmother Vizara. My grandmother ran our family like a corporation. She controlled every marriage and every bank account and every major decision through her voice and their written responses. The outside world saw her as a pillar of the community who founded 3 women's charities and served on the church board. They never questioned why the Kavari women were so quiet while Vizara spoke for them all. She summoned me to the basement the next morning. The preparation chamber looked like an abandoned surgical room with leather straps on a metal table and medical instruments laid out on sterile cloth. She showed me the pliers first. They were ancient and inscribed with prayers, and the metal was stained dark from generations of use. You'll heat them in the flame until they glow, she demonstrated with a blowtorch. Then you grip your tongue firmly and pull while twisting. The heat cauterizes as you remove it so you won't bleed to death. My legs shook, but I forced myself to stay standing. She walked me through every detail. No anesthesia because pain proved devotion. I had to do it myself while the other women held me down if needed. My mother would be there watching. They'd already made my jar with my name etched in glass. Your mother didn't hesitate, grandmother said. The tradition passes from mother to daughter. I guide it as my grandmother guided mine. She assigned me to live with the healed sisters for my remaining days. These women had all undergone the ritual and would prepare my spirit. That's when I saw the truth beneath their constant smiles. Their eyes burned with rage that contradicted every pleasant nod. They developed their own sign language that grandmother didn't know about. Some had scars where they'd tried to scream and torn their mouths. My cousin Nyleth had tried to run 3 years ago. They dragged her back and held her down while grandmother directed the others to do it for her. Another cousin Zeraphine went insane afterward and tried to cut out her own eyes because she couldn't stand seeing what she couldn't speak about. The husbands chosen for us were specifically selected because they wanted wives who couldn't talk back or call for help. I found my mother's hidden journal wrapped in plastic inside the toilet tank. 20 years of suppressed words filled the pages, including, "I wanted to warn you, but how could I? She speaks, and we obey." That's when I decided to burn it all down. I set up hidden cameras throughout the house over 3 days. I documented the jar room and the preparation chamber and recorded grandmother explaining the ritual. I took photos of the medical tools and the signed contracts where husbands requested silent wives. On the 4th night, I discovered my 12-year-old cousin Lysandria would be next after me. I couldn't let that happen. I mailed copies of everything to local police stations and state investigators. I sent packages to journalists and documentary filmmakers and women's rights attorneys. I dropped USB drives at hospitals and counseling centers and anywhere someone might listen. I even left evidence with 3 different priests at churches outside our county. 47 packages in total, 1 for each jar. At Sunday dinner with all 43 family members present, I stood up and spoke out loud for the first time in weeks. I refused to cut out my tongue. I've already sent evidence to dozens of authorities proving those jars contain human remains. I've documented everything. Grandmother's face went white. "Sit down, child. You don't know what you're doing." "I know exactly what I'm doing," I said louder. "And investigators will be here tomorrow morning." Police sirens wailed in the distance. I ran, but grandmother had connections everywhere. She filed a $50 million defamation suit and claimed religious persecution. Her lawyer got a judge to issue a restraining order within days. The jar room was mysteriously sanitized before police served the warrant. My own mother stood with grandmother on the courthouse steps holding a sign that said, "I chose silence freely." Extended family members started showing up at my safe house. Dead animals appeared on my doorstep with their tongues ripped out. The investigation stalled when witnesses recanted their statements. Major religious organizations rallied behind grandmother claiming government overreach. Then Lysandria disappeared. The video arrived at midnight. Lysandria was strapped to the table in the preparation chamber with tears streaming down her face. Grandmother held the glowing pliers while speaking calmly to the camera. My mother and aunt surrounded them with blank expressions. "Come home for your ceremony or she takes your place tonight." Lysandria screamed, "Please help me," before someone clamped a hand over her mouth. The text came 30 seconds later with a photo of 2 jars. One had my name, one had Lysandria's. Choose. Full story on channel linked below.